We'll jump into how last week went first, but we'll just touch on the big important game this week for Newcastle as well. So, Newcastle, fantastic result against Manchester United. We've now got Everton. Totally opposite sort of way. We've picked up another high intensity game. We're now going to this. We haven't got the players to rotate. How do you see this one going?
Well, I think it's nothing like Sunderland, but it's a kind of Premier League game that has that somewhat feeling to it. I think Newcastle, Manchester United, and then you got Everton. I think Liverpool can kind of have that as well, where it's just that sense that there's a bit behind it. Everton's a team that hates Newcastle. They tend to, I don't know why, but they tend to really get on with the Sunderland fans. I don't know why that is, but Goodison Park's always a hell of a ground to go to. I remember after the match, I think especially Everton win, the fans always wait. I would say, no, always try to pick fights with Newcastle fans. Never a nice place. I know after the last season when they got pummeled 4-1 and got bowers quite heavily. They'll be looking at this game, especially with the form this season. They've been quite a good team, Everton now. I know they've had their 10-point deduction, but even then, I know they'll be still a bottom half team, but actually a pretty good team.
They beat Forest last week as well. So did you see that one? A bit of a scrappy sort of match. It could have went either way. A lot of chances. Everton probably the better of the team. Is that enough to impress you going into this game that Everton might stand a chance?
Well, I think any away match for Newcastle, as I mentioned before, the away form hasn't been good. I think this one will be, even though they got a good result against City yesterday, I think this will be a harder game than Tottenham. I actually think how Tottenham play and how open they are, I think Newcastle will enjoy that more. Mm-hmm. But this Everton one's kind of just there. So you got the Everton, Tottenham and the AC Milan trio in a space of 6 days. It's Everton one. If it wasn't there, I think Newcastle will be okay. But the fact it's kind of just in the way, and it's a game that you look at paper, you got to be winning. But I think Newcastle will have a hard time. I think they will. So it's going to be a tough game. I don't know what I think about it yet. It's going to be a lot to ask for, but the players have got to be up for. We've got to be up for every single game now. There's no time to waste, and we've got to get the points on early. So games such as Sunderland, if we get further in the European competition, we've got to kind of then prioritise those games. Yeah. The Chelsea and the Carabao Cup's a huge one as well. So it's about getting the Premier League points early so you can prioritise the other games and not have to, I guess, stress so much about where you're on the table.
So what score prediction, if we jump into the score prediction, we'll get this one done first. We've obviously got the rest of the Premier League predictions coming up next, but what scoreline are you giving this one?
I'm going to back a 2-1 Newcastle. Realistically, I'll probably say 1-1 or maybe even edging towards an Everton win as much as I don't want to say it. But of course, I'll always back Mags, always back us to do well. I'm going to say 2-1, but I expect it to be a tight game, short on chances where whoever's most clinical will win the match.
I've won for 2-0 here. I think it'll be a bit more comfortable. Normally, I'm the pessimistic one, and I always think Newcastle worst case scenario. But for this one, I've won for 2-0. So Everton, I did watch the match against Forest. They didn't really convince us too much. I think they're missing that Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For me, he's the massive player. He's the biggest goal threat. They had a couple of chances, Everton, one off the goal line and another couple of key chances, but they just don't look as dangerous in front of goal with him. So I think, considering how well Newcastle looked defensively the last couple of weeks, I think we'll see a clean sheet, and I think 2 goals. However they go, possibly Isak. Gordon as well got another goal. He looks fantastic, and if he's fit, I know it's a bit of an injury doubt. If he's fit, I think that'll be a massive boost for Newcastle. So I went for 2-0 for that one. Right, okay then. So Newcastle versus Everton, combined 11. So it was a bit difficult with Man U and some other teams. With Everton, is there anyone at all that gets in from Everton to the Newcastle starting 11? You've probably got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You've got Pickford, who Southgate prefers over Nick Pope. Obviously, Nick Pope's injured. And who else have they got? They've got a good midfielder, Onana, how you pronounce that. So is there anyone for you that gets in on a combined 11?
Well, it depends how you look. If it's a best possible Newcastle 11 you're playing, no. I think Pope is still better than Pickford, or at least there's not much in it for you to pick one over the other. Calvert-Lewin there's no one here as good as Isak. He's a good player, but not better than Isak. And as for the rest of the Everton team, I don't think there's any midfielders that getting over ours. Defensively, I think Newcastle are much better, and our outright options, I think, again, are better than Everton. I don't think there's a single player I guess in our best 11.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, if you put yourself in Southgate's shoes as well, I know he's obviously got his favourite with Pickford. Would Nick Pope get in ahead of Pickford for you if you were Southgate?
Well, I think opposition fans, the only reason they put Pickford in over Pope is, one, because of his kicking, which I think is a valid point, to be honest, and 2, because of his shot stopping, believe it or not. For me, I don't believe that second point at all. A lot of England fans, for whatever reason, like the back Pickford over Pope. I don't understand it. I think Pope is a much better goalkeeper. For someone as such as myself who watches Newcastle every single week, I know he's a good goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he's obviously out now with a dislocated shoulder. When he plays for Newcastle, more than good enough to do it. Whether that's a different mentality for him when he's playing for Gareth Southgate, maybe something else. But I think for Newcastle, he is better at club football than Pickford.
Yeah, so there we go. You have it. No one gets in from Everton versus Newcastle. Hopefully we don't get absolutely pounced now and then eat our words a little bit. Right, so we've went through Newcastle versus Everton there. We go through all of the Premier League predictions. Click below right now to see that video as well. Get your score predictions in, compete with us, and let us know your thoughts.